Did Jesus teach self-denial for its own sake? How would you answer? I'm Cody Leibold, and I'll share my thoughts on this. It was provoked by this person that said to me, in response to some things I was saying about self-interest and the teaching of the Bible, he said, if any saying of Jesus will put the lie to this idea that Jesus always appealed to self-interest, it is this: if anyone wants to follow me, they will need to deny themselves, pick up their cross, and follow me. So, how do you respond to something like that? Well, my response was, if you continue reading the passage, you'll see who's lying. So there are three different places that I could find where Jesus talks about this. So let's look at them. There's Matthew 16, 24, 25 through 28. There's also Mark chapter 8, verse 34 and onward, and Luke 9, verse 23 and onward. So we'll start with Matthew 16, 24 and moving forward. So then Jesus said unto his disciples, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. That's a much better translation than whatever that person who quoted. But read on. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, and whoever will lose his life for my sake shall find it. For what is a man profited, if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man shall come in the glory of his Father with his angels, and then he shall reward every man according to his works. Verily I say unto you, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Okay, so self-interest, the reward. What would you gain? These are the things that Jesus is appealing to. Now let's look in Mark 8, verse 34 and onward. When he had called the people unto him with his disciples also, he said unto them, whosoever will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. Almost identical wording. The next verse says, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake and the gospel's, the same shall save it. What is he appealing to? What desire? What calculation? What method? Is it rational self-interest? Is it personal interest? Is it holy self-interest? Is he appealing to profit? Well, 36, for what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his soul? Whosoever therefore shall be ashamed of me and of my words in this adulterous and sinful generation, of him also shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he cometh in the glory of his Father with the holy angels. So that's what's at stake, and that's what Jesus wants you to know is at stake. That's the calculation. You want to be rational and wise about what's going to happen in the future. Luke 9, 23 through 27, another example of Jesus saying this, take up your cross. Let's see what Jesus says. Verse 23, and he said to them all, if any man will come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. Just like it said in Mark, for whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. For what is a man advantaged if he gain the whole world and lose himself or be cast away? Now keep in mind, there are wording differences, even if they are all reporting on the exact same presentation from Jesus, because Jesus was speaking in Aramaic, I would think, and they translated into Greek, and then now there's an English translation from the Greek, so of course there's going to be wording differences, but the content is exactly the same. The substance of the meaning is exactly the same. Also, Jesus was a traveling preacher, so he probably said the same thing with slight variations multiple times. But think about it. Verse 26, for whosoever shall be ashamed of me and my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed when he shall come in his own glory, and his Father's, and the holy angels. But I tell you of a truth, there be some standing here which shall not taste of death till they see the kingdom of God. So, almost identical. From this, we can understand what Jesus wants us to care about. He wants us to care about what's wise for ourselves, our rational self-interest. Save yourself. Save yourself from this untoward generation is the teaching of the gospel. You can hear it throughout the Bible in the mouths of multiple good men. So that's how I would answer about the question of self-interest. Does Jesus ask you to pursue your self-interest? The next question that I would ask after that, since it's a clear yes, is, but what is the relative place in priority for self-interest? Should it be the key motivating factor, or should it be something else? In the time since Immanuel Kant, and the time since the influence of the Catholic Church and the self-abnegation and self-denial for its own sake, self-sacrifice for its own sake type movement, we have grown accustomed to this concept of morality that comes from Kant, but not from the Bible. And so it's no wonder that the preachers are so confused about it. But there is a valid question to be answered. The valid question would be, if I had to choose between giving God glory versus doing what's in my personal interest, is there one that is more important than the other? And I think this comes down to a framing question and a philosophical question. Because, first of all, they're coterminous. Giving God the maximum amount of glory is identical to doing that which is in my best interest. You understand, right? So there will never be a way that I can get what's best for me by sinning, by doing what displeases God or denies some glorifying of God. So they are coterminous, but then the question is, how do I understand their relative relationship? And I think the philosophical correct answer is to realize that we are to love God, and that love means value. You cannot love that which you do not value. And so to say that I love God and that I care about his glory is to say that I consider him of value to me. They are the same idea. And once you understand that, you'll understand rational egoism. But those are just my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Do you agree or do you disagree about the way I'm conceiving of rational self-interest? And more importantly, do you agree with Jesus? Could you explain your thoughts on that? Leave a comment, and I'd love to read what you have to say. Thanks for listening today. God bless.